Hi folks. I'm still not used to using this different program, so I like it keeps going live before I'm like entirely ready. But yeah, let me just share this on the Discord. I'll be right back. Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome. How is everybody? Thanks for joining us. Hi King Froggy first. Hi HMV and hi Epic. Thank you all for joining us here today. And we are gathered here today to see more Balzak Globotron. Zach want to react to Nailgun's video on stream. I already saw it. It's really good, and you all should watch it. I don't really feel like reacting to it because it's kind of long, and I don't want to like I don't feel like pretending to react to it for the first time, you know, because I've already seen it. Maybe I should have waited to see it, but yeah, it's really good though. Check out Nailgun's video on the evil paper computer game characters. I thought it was really well done and awesome. It's like a fun look at some of the most evil villains in paper computer games. King Froggy first says no recap, just straight to the PCG. All right. So the recap. What's our recap for today? How did we get here? Well, first of all, let's see. Let us. Wait. Why is my face not here? Should my face be here? Do we even care that my face is not visible? Well, that is not it. Where's my face? That's weird. Oh no, there's a recap? Well, I mean, not exactly, but it's just, I'm like more of a technical difficulty than a recap. Yeah, I guess we don't have to care that my face isn't here, right? If you need to see my face, you can go to this. And while we're looking at Balzak, I guess we don't need to see my face. I guess that sucks though. Like, why can't it just like work? Right? USB video device. There we go. There's my face. That's weird. I don't know why it was doing that. Anyway, sorry about the delay. Let's give the full and total recap. So let's see, where are we up to today? We are, like last time we were fully exploring Shri. Right, we were exploring Shri, and then the ship gets stolen and you have to go chase after it. So there was a scene here, and I'm not sure which folder it's in, like, because there's a cut scene. Maybe it would be in minor systems. I don't think so though. No. It should be in Tabernacle in theory. Let's try making this like extra large icon so I definitely don't miss anything. Right. Nope, it's definitely not here. Abandoned alien ship, gets or invasion aliens, inventory, etc. It's not in there, right? Midway station. It's not in here, although I don't know why it would be. Minor systems. We just checked there. There's nothing in minor systems. Oh, maybe it's in Zoniat. Maybe that's what I did. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Okay, so sorry about that, good folks. Sorry about that. So the story is that you are like you're on Shri and you part with Genghis because Genghis has got to stay on his world, and you have because he's got to lead a resistance, and you have to take back your ship, right? Somebody stole your ship. So there's a cutscene on like what happens on the ship, right? Like it starts with Johnson, and like here's Johnson, and he notices, because like Johnson is the engineer. He's like in engineering of the ship. His thing is that he's got like 6 arms, but none of them work. He's like paralyzed from the waist up, right? So he's just got really athletic with his legs. So he's like, perching himself between the pipe and this thing with his legs. And he notices anyway that there's like fumes coming in from the vent. So that's kind of weird. So he's going to go into the vent and try to explore. I guess that's not there. And I think I'm not sure if this is inside the vent. Like, I mean, this is definitely inside the vent, but I'm not sure if this is. Anyway, he goes through the vent, and then he gets back, and this is what he sees. So there's Johnson coming out the vent, and he sees that the bridge of the ship we're seeing it from a different angle. We're like, is totally filled with this fume. And here's Bob. Bob is like totally collapsed from the fume. So this is being seen from the perspective of on top of Bob's little platform. To make that clearer, let me show you what the bridge looks like. So here is, let's see, Tabernacle. Where's the bridge? Here it is. So here's like the full bridge. So see how like Bob is on this little platform over here that's like hanging from the ceiling? So that's where we're looking from. We're looking from that, and where the camera is sort of pointed in this direction. And so we see like this is the doorway where you would enter onto the bridge from. And so all the main platform would be down here. You can't really see it. And there's like one horn, which is the horn on the top of the head of whoever has invaded the bridge. Over here, this is like the security guard guy who is knocked out from the gas. Fun fact, the security guard guy is named Popo Guy. He is a police officer from my PCG Into the Heart of the World, which is random. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but what can I tell you? He works on the Tabernacle now. I don't know why he's randomly there, honestly, but he's there. Anyway, so this is the last thing Johnson sees before he passes out. And then that is how your ship is stolen. So you have to catch up with your ship as Balzak Globotron. You have to land in the shuttle bay. Right, and then that's what has to happen. Like, you have to... where... You have to go through this area, which is like the vent. And there's Balzak, you know, coming from this little passageway this way. And you have these cool little robot dudes hanging around. These are not harmful. Well, I guess this one is. Yeah, I guess they are harmful. I think they're at least, like, neutral. Like, they can hurt you, but they don't always. I don't remember what the deal is. There's this, like, hovering robot, and you had to deal with these. These are fans, which are, like, blowing wind upwards. So you had to kind of, like, time your jumps. I don't know how. Like, this is sort of like a platformer stage, almost. But I don't know how that's supposed to work in a PCG. It's just, like, I'll time it right and jump from one to the other. You know, that's all you can really do. I don't know. Regardless, yeah, there's a lever over here, which you can press to, like, I assume that's to, like, reverse, like, turn on the fans which are off and turn off the fans which are on, and then that will let you do other stuff. Anyway, the goal is to get over here and move that way to get onto the bridge. Once you do get onto the bridge, you see the full truth. Dun dun dun! Yes! Yes! Looks like Epic called it. It could be Evil Zubak. Looks like you called it, good sir. So yeah, yeah, I've been sort of ignoring chat, so let's see what chat is saying while we ruminate on Evil Zubak. Epic says, loving these angles. Thanks so much, dude. I made Zubak's Remorse, which was a sequel to this very part of the game. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that. But yeah. King Froggy's got to go to bed. Alright, thanks so much for joining us. Also, earlier Epic asked, do you think you will ever play Balzak again? I mean, potentially. I'm not against... Like, the thing is, I think that would be cool. I would like to introduce it to some new people. The thing is, though, my main hesitation on playing it again is the combat system in Balzak Globotron. I do not like combat systems in paper computer games, you guys. I do not like them. I also should not be smashing my, like, motor vehicle letter. But regardless, I do not like combat systems. Like, in this game in particular, the problem was that the combat system got too big. Like, as you collect a fleet, you start fighting against bigger and bigger fleets, which means you have to spend more and more time on the battles. There was times where it was like, there's a battle, and that battle takes, like, the entire play session, and then you don't get to play again for the next 2 weeks. That was frustrating, and that, like, right there is a big part of what makes me sort of, like, hesitant to redo it. I would almost think that, like, if I were to play this again, I would say, all right, let's, like, either drastically simplify the fights somehow or, like, skip them entirely. Like, for example, if there's, like, a battle between 150 ships and 200 ships, all right, like, 200 is more than 150, and so most of your ships are demolished. You know, like, that sort of thing. Like, I do not want to go through the whole battle again. At least not every time. Epic says, dang, that is quite an opinion. I didn't know you hated them that much. Well, okay. I don't want to come across as too harsh on them. Like, I mean, combat systems in, like, you know, are not, like, inherently a bad thing, obviously. I mean, they've worked really well in RPGs. I do enjoy, like, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Combat in that can be fun. You know, combat in all sorts of things with combat systems can be fun. I think like my main thing with them in PCGs in particular is that like PCGs are not made professionally. Like Dungeons and Dragons is. You have a team of people and months to develop a combat system and balance it and make sure it works really well while making sure that it doesn't take too much time, you know? And so for that reason, I feel like, you know, when you play something like D&D that has a good combat system, you've got, it's really nice and polished. Whereas with something like Balzak Globotron, you're just one person and you're trying to make this really big game. And, you know, you end, like, at least the way I did it, I ended up trying to simplify it. But when you simplify it, like, there's always unforeseen consequences. That's just what happens. Because, like, when you're like, a professional developer developing like D&D or whatever, it gets like you have time to play test it. You know, you can have like, you know, you can run potential matches like again and again and again and refine and then try it again and again, you know, and until it works really well, like a smoothly oiled machine. In a paper computer game, you don't have the luxury of doing that. And so the other thing is, it like in the context of a paper computer game, it's just unwieldy. And like, you know, I guess like at least for me, like me personally, like when I'm playing a paper computer game, like I want to focus on like the paper computer game part of it. You know, like if you're really into the combat system for its own sake, you know, like if you're someone who really likes creating a combat system and that's the fun of the game, or at least that's like a significant chunk of the fun of the game, I think that can work well because like that's where your creativity is focused, you know. But like when I was doing it, the point was sort of everything else, you know. The battles, you know, are fun, but like the battles in Balzak Globotron were fun, but like, you know, it ultimately felt like taking away from everything else. And also, as the PCG master, there's a lot of numbers you have to keep track of. And when there's like a large number of them, it's like, you know? So yeah, I'm not like inherently, I think that would be short-sighted to like say that anything is always bad. Like, anything can be made to work. I think combat systems can be a lot of fun, but I think like in paper computer games, especially since they're so unprofessional and since it's usually one person making this sort of a thing, my feeling about it is that generally it's better to avoid them, and that is sort of like my rule for myself in particular. Epic says, a cool video idea I just randomly thought of was predicting the future of PCGs. We could talk about combat systems too in that. Interesting. Yeah, that would be an interesting topic to talk about. I don't know what I would have to say about it. Anyway. So, yeah. Let's talk about what's going on here, right? So, we last saw Zuvak on Shri. He was evil Zuvak there, right? But that was just regular Zuvak, but he'd been reprogrammed to be evil. But this is a whole different story. So, it still is the same guy, right? Because after you met evil Zuvak on Shri, they took him back up to the ship. That's why he's on the ship now. But he has transformed clearly. This is no longer your regular run-of-the-mill Zuvak. This is Zuvak 2.0. Zuvak 2.0 is so evil, he has his own article on the PCG Wiki. He is, like, look at this. He's got, like, spikes for a mouth. He's got, like, these glowing yellow eyes, which you definitely can't see since this is black and white. He's got, like, horns instead of his usual Zuvak hair. His legs can actually move now. He's got 2 legs instead of 3, because the third leg is transformed into a tailpipe. And the tailpipe is what is emitting this gas, which is actually nitrous oxide. I actually researched to find a good gas that would render people unconscious and would be sick, like would make them sick, and that they would eventually die from it, but like not immediately. Like, so you would have a few hours to rescue them. So yeah, like, and I wanted it to specifically. I wanted it to look. I think it was red. I had a very specific color I wanted it to look. I don't know why, because this is black and white. But what can I tell you? But anyway, yeah. So Balzak Globotron, you return to the bridge, and this is what you see. Matak. Poor Matak. Matak is nailed to the ground. Oh no. Each one of his tentacles. I don't know how Zuvak did this. He still doesn't have arms. I don't know how this happened, but I guess he's just running around with his legs so fast he can just, like, you know, I don't know, kick the nail up in the air and then it, like, falls right at the... I don't know. I'm reaching. I'm stretching there. Epic says he should have been in Nailgun's video about evil. Oh yeah, totally. Epic says, bro, how could he crucify Matak? I know, Matak. We can see Chennai is on the ground over here. Philby the robot is over here. He is still plugged into the ship, but I guess Zuvak, being Zuvak, has hacked into the ship and therefore is hacked into the robot. Bob has collapsed over here. So you basically gotta find a way to defeat Zuvak 2.0. Zuvak 2.0 is super evil. After you defeat Zuvak 2.0, Philby looks unaffected. Well, I mean, yeah, he's a robot. He's not going to collapse from carbon monoxide poisoning, but he is being controlled by Zuvak 2.0. So Zuvak 2.0 essentially has control of the ship through him, and through just like hacking into the ship in general. So yeah, who even is Philby? Now that, yeah, exactly. Well, he's the robot, right? He's the robot, and he is like the tactical officer on the ship. For those who don't watch Star Trek and don't know what that means, he's the guy who controls the weapons and shoots stuff, basically. Like, yeah, that is a big problem with Balzak Globotron, is that, like, I created this whole cast of characters to be like the main crew of Balzak Globotron, and that would have worked great if this had been like a cartoon series or a comic series or whatever, where the characters interact with each other a lot. But in a paper computer game, the way I set it up, it really did not work, because like, you really don't have to interact with these characters. They're totally optional. You can just go down to each planet and like, all right, I'll get the thing. All right, sweet, let's go to the next planet. All right. So why would you talk to the bridge officers, or I keep saying officers like it's Star Trek, but they don't have, like, they're not officers. But anyway, why would you talk to these people if you don't have a reason to? And that was a lesson I learned from this game. I really did not understand this. Whereas, like, I think in contrast, Kurt's paper computer game Spaceballs, like, in that game, every single character was super memorable. Like, I still remember all of them to this day who were on my team. And the reason you remember them is because you're constantly interacting with them. They're part of your team. Like, for example, you walk onto a new screen and there's an enemy. So you're like, okay, there's an enemy. Well, Killbot, shoot the enemy. So you have to talk to Killbot to get him to shoot. And Killbot shoots. And maybe he'll have a weird interaction with the enemy. Like, maybe he'll think that enemy is super dangerous and he'll start shooting crazy or whatever. Like, that kind of stuff makes you remember Killbot. And then if you encounter a new, thing that's high up, you have, like, hey, tutorial bot, fly up there and try and get that, right? So each character has some sort of a function. You need them for something. You keep having to go back to them and, like, interacting with them to get them to do something. And that is the kind of setup that makes you remember the cast. Balzak Globotron did not have that. And so, for that reason, I think that's why, nobody remembers these characters, because who cares about them, right? Epic says, you even said in your video about creating characters, remember every character should have a purpose to be there. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, I love all these characters that are in Balzak Globotron, but they're just criminally underexplored. which is something I'm hoping to rectify in the future. Like, if I get a chance to make a sequel to Balzak, I will try and, do that properly. But, yeah, Epic says Matak seemed to be the only one who really stuck. Yeah, because, like, Matak was the only one you really had to... I mean, you didn't really have to interact with him, but you had a reason to interact with him at least. Like, because, this is a space adventure, right? Like, there's all sorts of weird things happening out there. And in any sort of, like, sci-fi space adventure, you always need a scientist, somebody who can analyze what's going on out there and tell you what it is. Like, you're out there and you see a weird time distortion and you go to the scientist to your left and you go, yo, what's that? Do you see any weird energy readings coming from there? What's going on, right? Like, and he'll be like, there are strong energy readings coming from that appears to be some kind of weird thing. Because it's probably because you went to his planet. That helps too. Yeah. I mean, like, if there's a storyline where you go to his planet, it certainly doesn't hurt. Like Spock almost. Yeah, like Spock exactly. I mean, that is Spock's purpose, right? Like, Spock's role on the original Star Trek bridge is he's the scientist. Whenever something weird happens, Kirk turns to Spock and he goes, Spock, analyze. And Spock steers into that little thing and he's like, Captain, I am reading something totally unlike anything the Federation has encountered before. He'll always be the one to explain or speculate about whatever the thing is that we're seeing on the view screen, right? The same purpose. Matak is like the Spock of this game, basically. And for that reason, you had a reason to interact with him. But like the helmsman, for example, Chennai, you have no reason to talk to Chennai. Like, I mean, you can say, like, he'll say, all right, let's go to the next planet. I mean, like, as a PCG master, I'll be like, all right, so you set your ship sets a course for the next planet, right? You could be a stickler about it and be like, you were supposed to ask the helmsman. But I don't think that's a good way to do it. I do not think that is the best way to... There's better ways to do it. I don't think that's one of them. Epic says Spock's death scene was so sad. Yeah, oh my gosh, yes. But thankfully he was reborn. True. True. Absolutely. So, yeah. So, anyway. Where were we? This might be too late to talk about this stuff, because, like... It's just you. Everyone else appears to, like, there's no one else here, Everyone else appears to have gone to sleep. Like, at least according to this, it says I have one viewer. But, I'll at least, finish with this scene and get us to Zoniat, I guess, before ending the stream. But anyway, yeah, okay, so let's see, anyway, yeah, so once you defeat Zuva, maybe I should actually check out the script on this, because there's gotta be some dialogue I wrote for this or whatever. Let's see. I didn't I have this script open? Right. So, where's my, excuse me. Where's my, like, thing that's supposed to be over here? My, table of contents. View navigation pane. There we go. Okay, so we are, look at all this. Look at all these, Like, let me move my chat out of the way so you can see it. Look at all this. This is a lot of stuff, right? Okay. So yeah, let's check this out. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, bridge. Everyone on the bridge except Balzak and Zuvak are unconscious. How many pages is the script? 44. Everyone on the bridge except Balzak and Zuvak are unconscious. Matak is nailed to the floor. Chennai lies... Yeah, we already saw that. The robot is under Zuvak's control, and so are the nanobots which live under the bridge. Oh, shoot, I forgot all about that. That was going to be a thing, but I think it ended up not mattering that much in the actual game, but it was more of an idea while I was developing it. But anyway, I mean, still canonically there are nanobots under the bridge, but yeah, anyway. Zuvak will laugh an evil laugh and speak in a mechanical voice. I will destroy your ship. It's too late to stop me. If Balzak approaches Zuvak directly, the ship's nanobots will rise up to form restraints. If Balzak must first push the lever on Chennai's control panel, this causes the ship to lurch toward the planet, but Zuvak can quickly regain control. Balzak must break the conduit behind the control panel as soon as he pushes the lever. This prevents Zuvak from regaining control of the ship, and the bridge will tilt violently. I see. So you push the lever and then smash the control panel so that the ship cannot be controlled anymore, so Zuvak can't regain control of it. That makes sense. So, okay. Both Balzak and Zuvak will fall over, but Balzak, having arms, will find it easier to get up. He can then grab Zuvak and slam him into the wall, deactivating Zuvak and returning control of the ship to Balzak. Unfortunately, the crew is now going to need a doctor, and Zuvak, as he passes out and returns to his normal form, will tell him there's a doctor on planet Zoniat. So that's like Zuvak, as he reaches unconsciousness, he's like, ugh, there's a doctor on Zoniat. Ugh. He, like... Epic says, what do you remember being the hardest puzzle for Chris to figure out? I don't think he didn't really have trouble with many of the puzzles too much. I think most of them he was relatively fine with. I think, like, just, like, generally speaking, this PCG is pretty easy. It's just time consuming because it's so big and there's a lot to explore and mess around with. But the puzzles in this game aren't really super hard. At least they weren't for Chris, I don't think. I can't think of one, like, there isn't any that jumps out to me as, like, super hard that he had a lot of trouble with. If I think of one later, I'll mention it for you, to you. But anyway, so Balzak will have to go down to planet Zoniat to get one. Epic says, I feel as though PCGs in this era are too easy. I mean, I guess, like, I suppose it's a matter of, like, preference. Balzak Globotron, I mean, I never played it, so I can't really speak to it. I only made it. My feeling from seeing them play it is that I didn't feel like it was too easy. Like, there were puzzles that, like, they didn't get stuck for a long time, but there were puzzles where they were, like, working on the puzzle for, like, an hour or so, you know? Trying to figure it, like, feeling it out, trying to figure out the right thing, and then eventually they get past it. There was nothing that they were, like, super stuck on for, like, many sessions, I don't think. But, so, I don't know. I guess it is a matter of preference. For Balzak Globotron, I kind of am glad it's not too hard, because it's also really, really long, and it just has so much to explore that, like, if it was also super hard, then it would run the risk of being frustrating, I think, you know? Because, like, it's, you know, 200 pages, like, and you feel like you're not making progress because every time you play, you spend, like, 8 hours on one puzzle, you know? But yeah, it also, like, when you say PCGs in this era were too easy, it also depends on whose PCGs you're talking about. I feel like my PCGs were relatively easy, I guess, but like Keith and Kurt's PCGs were insane. Like Zack to the Future, oh my god. Pierre's PCGs were really hard too. Like, I was, like, Genesis is only, like, what, probably, like, 10 to 15 pages, something like that, I guess? But I was on that PCG for months. Like, months and months, you guys. Possibly even years. Definitely the sequel, Exile. I should, like, that's what I should do. I should make a video showcasing Genesis and Exile. I don't think I've done that. I made, like, a trailer for it. I don't think I've made, like, a proper, like, showcase video. Did I? Or am I crazy? Let's actually check out my channel and see if I have or not. That's not my channel. That is Sora AI. I was just looking at the kind of stuff you can make with it. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, what am I doing? Oh yeah, my channel. Whoops. Wait. Okay, there we go. Epic says, like, I have yet to play a really hard one besides HMB's games. The reason they're easier is because so many new people in the community join the community and aren't ready for complex games. Interesting. You have not, Zach? I have not what? I don't remember what that was in reference to. Dang it. But anyway, yeah, let's see. Genesis paper computer game. This is just the teaser, right? And then there's, like, these all reference Genesis but are not specifically about it. Like, the old community all played PCGs for a while and didn't have newer people all the time. That is true. Oh, you mean the PCGs in this era now are too easy. I see. I thought you meant the PCGs in the Balzak Globotron era. Oh, gotcha. So this is my only video on my channel about Genesis. Where am I? This is the music, by the way, that she played while I was playing the paper computer game, and it's a big part of why this PCG was, like, got into my head so much. At the beginning of time. Wow, the art is amazing. I'm telling you, Pierre is insane. And this is like, let me tell you, Pierre thought this art in this game was so bad that she had to make a remake of it to improve the art. Because, like, that is how crazy Pierre's art is. First Genesis. This is a pretty good trailer for the game. I put all the work into putting the game on the PCG shop, but I did not make a full overview. I think I should do that. What do you guys think? That is unreal, dude. I know. It is one of the, like, Pierre made this, like, series of 2 paper computer games, and it was the craziest, you know, one of the craziest things ever. But yeah. Do a vid. All right. It's gonna happen. Anyway, we should get back to Balzak Globotron. Or I guess, like, maybe, like... Actually, maybe I should probably think about ending the stream because, like, you know, as previously discussed, we only have 1 viewer, and it doesn't make a ton of sense to show the game to just 1 person. We should probably wait till there's more people. As much as this is fun with just Epic, but still, like, Epic says, Zach, do you ever write down to-do lists because they're super helpful? Yeah, I do. I guess, like, my problem is, like, remembering to check them, you know? Like, I write them down, and then I don't do them. I don't know. But, yeah. So, yeah, Alright, well, thanks for doing a little stream. It was epic. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for making me do a little stream, dude. This was indeed epic. We shall continue this next time. And yeah, Balzak Globotron! Woo! Wait, I have a question? Sure, what's up? Do you think that the shadow is Slurm? Well, the shadow is canonically Slurm. Like, I mean, it was revealed at the end of PCG Anniversary Special 2 that the shadow is Slurm. Like, Chris had to be playing around. But that did happen in the PCG! like, that's what happened, right? So, that was the ending of the game. I mean, if that's not who Slurm is, then what does it even mean for something for something to be Slurm? It's not canon. I'm not accepting it away. I mean, most uncanon thing ever. Well, I mean, if you think about it, though. Like, let's go. Hold on. Let me have up the whatchamacallit. Slurm. Alright, sure, we'll have Yak Slurm up here. Yeah, so, because you'd be ashamed of it, CC? Yeah. Well, yeah, so, I mean, like, the way to think about it, I think, is that the real story there, like, who even is Slurm in the PCG universe? That, like, sort of doesn't mean anything, because there's those videos about Slurm, but the way the story is in PCG Anniversary Special 2, like when you first meet him, he's like Slurm here, but like, he does that a little bit, but really the real story of him is that he's an evil alternate version of Zack. He's like the evil mirror image of Zack. That's the real thing of the Shadow. He's like a version of Zack from an alternate universe. And he just got more and more powerful as he, like, conquered more stuff. He also has powers. So it's not like he started off the same as regular Zack. He started off with powers. So that was the initial idea. And then he thought, maybe I can put Slurm on top of that. So he's an evil version of Zack, and he's Slurm. There's multiple ways to think about that. One thing is maybe Slurm is just a nickname that, you know, Evil Zack came up with for himself. So maybe he's not, like, canonically the same being as Slurm from the Slurm videos, you know? Like, maybe he's just not, like, the same thing. Yeah, so that's one thing. Another thing that occurred to me is that when I was thinking about this is that, like, you know, Slurm is, you know, this goopy being from you know what? XS for accepting this propaganda. Hey, wait a second. Chris really manipulated. He didn't manipulate me, dude. He made the PCG. What am I supposed to do? Ignore the evidence of my own eyes? I saw it. It's not my fault. Unbelievable. I mean, look. So yeah, like that's how I was thinking about it. That, like, you know, Slurm is sort of like this goopy thing from the 31st century. He just happens to be played by me in the videos, right? So I was thinking, like, what if somehow Slurm came back in time and, like, infected the evil version of Zack, or merged with the evil version of Zack, and that's why he identifies himself as Slurm. So I don't know. Guys, we lost him. Chris is a mastermind, and this stream is just out of control. Zack really fell for his trap. But like, what can I do? Canon is canon. Like, this is Chris we're talking about. He created the PCG universe, dude. Like, he is like the standard by which canon is judged. Oh, man. XS. Hey! I don't even know how to respond to that. There's no initials for like Epic sucks. I just want to respond with QC, criticize Chris, but it doesn't work because you're not Chris. Dang it. I reckon, Chris. Epic is Epic. EE. No! Epic is not Epic. E-N-E. Oh, there it is. Whoa. E-N... Wait, how do you do that? E-N-E. Yeah, there we go. E-N-E. I'm right and you know it. No! Canon is sacrosanct. The sacred timeline must be protected, you know, right? Like in Loki. Zack Slurm is obviously slurming you, so let's just call it a night. Alright, yeah, fair enough. You got me. You got me there. Can't deny that I'm getting a bit slurmed at the moment. I must make a PCG about this. Yeah, do it. Do it. Meantime, I gotta make that video about Genesis. But yes, anything else, or should I end the stream? Any other questions or whatnot? It's interesting that we've also got these different versions of Slurm in PCGs, right? We've got Chris's interpretation from PCG Anniversary Special, which is obviously the Shadow. We've got your version, which is like this guy, with the figs worshipping him. All hail King Slurm. We've got, yeah. I will prove you and all Chris's canonical wrongness wrong. All right, go for it. Do it. By the way, PCG core book is getting done. Nice. Heck yeah, finish that book. It'll be here soon. Sweet. Alrighty. So, with all that being said, let us and it's actually Ken. Ooh, Gauntlet Throne. Oh, but yeah, I will, thank you folks so much for watching. You folks are the best, as always, and